What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Trading Learning 101. It is Thursday, April 25th. We are just about approaching 2 p.m. and we are in the heart of earnings season. Right now, we literally have RBZ popping off right now. I've been talking about this thing all week. It's just been popping and popping and popping and popping every single day. Pop here, here, and even today. And today it finally broke. They came out with news right at 127 that they're looking to exercise something. And this thing goes from 560 all the way to a high of $6.90. We'll see what it does right now, but I want to get into this market recap. I was able to quickly scalp this real quick when it had this nice little pullback right here, back down to 650 and sold into this pop-up here. But walking away, let's jump into the market recap. So we have over 190 companies putting out earnings today. Now we're starting to get to where the big dogs are starting to put out their earnings. So we got the SPY futures and NASDAQ futures were green this morning. The Dow Jones and the Russell 2000 futures were red this morning. Today we had a nice morning sell-off, popped up, more selling, and then since that selling, after 10:30, we start grinding all the way up and we make a new high on the day. Let's look at the daily real quick. We could bring this down just a little bit. We're almost at all-time new highs, and we're at all-time new highs for the year. It's crazy compared to when around Christmas time of 2018 when we were breaking new lows. Just the rebound that we had all of 2019. Look at that. That's just phenomenal. And I read last night on Bloomberg that this is one of the fastest turnarounds from session lows for a stock to have a rebound like that, from making new lows to making new highs. Just crazy, crazy moves. Then we got the Qs here. Same thing as the NASDAQ. Morning sell-off, quick little pop, and then just a huge sell-off down. We're in the heart of earnings season. We're going to have these big companies putting out earnings. I know Tesla just bombed on their earnings. So these big, large cap companies like Tesla are going to influence the market. There's a few things to go over today. I have so much to talk about. Tesla came out with earnings, just totally missed their earnings. They reported they were down a share like $2.69 of loss per share. And that's just horrible. And this is making new lows just about. Look at this daily. Here's where it's at right here. Just about at 250. So just when they're putting out bad news, this is where the smart money starts to come in and get in on this. Not that I'm recommending this is a buy, but this is what it's all about. You've seen this area that it's at right here has held up as support right here, and right here. And this is where the smart money could potentially come in, pick this up, and then next thing you know, 8 months down the road, it's way up here, and they're up in profit. Next up, Microsoft. Microsoft is officially a $1 trillion company. Look at this. This is the daily. They put out positive earnings. They're working on a contract worth $10 billion that they're trying to get. And it's looking good that they're going to get that contract. Next up is Facebook. Facebook put out good earnings again. Their stories that they came out with is a big hit. They reported more users are using Facebook. And today it's got a nice gap up from 182 all the way up to a high of almost $200, and then it came down. Nice gap up right here, and today people are just taking their profits. Fun fact, Kraft Heinz is now the worst packaged food stock in the S&P 500. Boeing has reported a negative 21% first quarter loss. And let's see. Let's jump into small cap land. That's enough of let's see. There was only one really hot stock this morning, and that is ACRX. Not ACRX. Where am I at? ARCI. So with all these large cap companies putting out earnings, it's going to take volume away from small cap stocks. You got to keep that in mind. This happens every earnings season. So you just got to take what the market can give you and walk away. So we got ARCI here. Everybody was talking about this morning. This gaps up from $4.70 all the way up to a high pre-market of $7. As soon as the market opens, we get a very, very fast shot up to $8.50. It pulls back to $7.68. And then from $7.68, this thing ramps up to almost $9 and tops out here at $9.50. And then just look at this nasty, nasty sell-off. And then it just fizzled out the rest of the day. This stock just got used and abused. When you're looking to play this, especially in this area right here, you have to take a step back and look. How much is this up percentage-wise compared to yesterday? This stock is over double up. And it's on some not even really good news. It's nothing eye-catching. It's a low-float stock. And if you look back, this stock had a reverse split on Monday. And we were talking about this on Monday. Let's zoom in really quick. Go back to that day. And it's just all about seeing and knowing the pattern. What's the pattern? If you were here on Monday and watching the market, you would have remembered this stock. This stock had a reverse split. What do you know? The stock had a morning rip from $3.50 all the way to a high of $5. And then after that, it crashed down really, really hard. Even got halted on the way down right here. And then opened up and continued to crash down. And then since that huge spike up and huge crash down, it fizzled out the rest of the day. So that goes to show me right here on day one of this that this stock can't hold its gains. So that's a sign right there. So if we fast forward all the way to today, same thing. We get a real good spike up, and then the stock comes crashing down and then fizzles out the rest of the day. The stock cannot hold its gains. You have to be very fast with the stock. And if you chase, you die. Very, very huge gap up on this. You could just, ever since 8 o'clock, it's just been nothing but up and up and up and up and up and up and up. You got to take a step back and realize when you're at this point, when you're at the tippy top, and this thing has over 5, 8 million in volume on the day so far, everybody that bought in all right here are going to want to take their profits at some point. And then you're going to come into selling. And then at any point, the stock gives its first weakness, they're going to get out. And that's what happened right here. From 950, it crashed all the way down right here to 784 and got halted. And then this opened up. See, it got halted right here at 784, got halted, and opened up at 740, and then crashed down just below 7. Look at the wicks on this right here. Very, very volatile stock. Low float stocks, you gotta have patience with them. Gotta have patience, let it set up. If you chase it, that's with any low float stock. Low float under 5 million shares. If it's even lower, under 1 million in share float, you gotta be super, super patient. That's the key. There's a lot of chat rooms and trading gurus out there that have followings that pump these up day in and day out. And the gurus just pump it up with their sheep and then dump it on everybody. Next up, we got NBEV. Now, NBEV, this did come out with news. It's coming out with, it's launching its CBD. Let's look at the daily here. NBEV is one of the more popular pot stocks, and CBD has becoming really, really popular. So this pretty much gapped up and has been selling off all day. Look at the consolidation right here at $5. $5 has been a well-known support area for NBEV. And you got to think of the accumulation all right here of swing traders, long-term investors, people who've bought all up in here, holding and hoping for this stock to gap up. And it finally got its gap up, and now it's crapping. But I think they launched their CBD on their website, and their website isn't up and working. That's what I've been hearing on Twitter. And this is what it does. Gets a nice grind up the day before. Gaps up to 620. And if you follow NBEV, you know that NBEV likes to either spike really hard to the upside or downside in the morning. And then the rest of the day, it just pretty much consolidates. Next up, what I want to talk about, another company that put their earnings out today was Old Dominion Freight Lines. This, just the daily on this is just great looking. Let me pull it up. So, just a really, really good chart on the daily. You can see the pattern on this. Every time it likes to put out earnings, the next day it puts out earnings, it always has a big sell-off. They've been putting out positive earnings all the time, and just got to follow and watch the patterns of this thing. Every time it puts out earnings, majority of the time it sells off because you have people anticipating the earnings and they buy it up. And then as soon as the company puts out earnings, everybody dumps it. And you can see it gaps up and hits a high up at this resistance area right here at 163. And then just sold off all the way down to 150. Look at that. Right here at, because they started their conference call at 10 a.m. And then they must have put some numbers out that people didn't like, but they did do good on their earnings. Alright, so we have some major companies putting out earnings after the market closes. Stocks like Ford, Amazon. Let's see here. I did have it up. We had 3M put out earnings before the market opened. We got Amazon after the market closes. Boeing put out negative earnings. Visa puts out earnings after the market closes. Starbucks puts out earnings after market closes. Southwest Airlines puts out earnings after the market closes. Over 190 companies, like I said, put out earnings after the market closes. So we're reaching towards the end of the week. You all know as the week progresses, as we get closer to Friday, we start to lose more and more volume. You just got to have that patience and that discipline to wait for market conditions to set up. And in the market, you make your money by sitting and just babysitting these charts. That's what it's all about. Let's switch back over to the SPY real quick as it's making new highs on the day. This thing could break out to all-time new highs either today or tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how the SPY closes at the end of the day as we go into Amazon putting out their earnings after the market closes. That could drive the market to breaking out to all-time new highs. We shall see. That's why you want to see these large cap companies just put out blowout great earnings. You know, Tesla did miss their earnings big time, but we've had Microsoft do good. Facebook did good. I don't know when Google's putting their earnings out. I assume it's probably next week. We got Visa putting their earnings out. You want these large cap companies to put good blowout earnings out to motivate the market to just with power. But also 3M has announced that they're going to be laying off, I think it was like 19,000 or 9,000 employees. So it's a lot to keep track of all this stuff that's going on. But really just, oh, and then we had ATOS quickly pop today as well. I wanted to talk about this one. Look at that. From this 330 area, ATOS just explodes up to 425. Consolidating right here at 325. They came out with news at 12 p.m. 2 hours ago. Look at that. Right there at that press release. That's when you get this first volume spike. Pops up to 357. Pulls back. Consolidates. And then look at all this volume come in right here. And then from 350s, just boom, explodes all the way up to 425. And then just fizzles out. That's been the theme. We get great, real good spikes up, and then the stocks just fall right back down. Same thing with RBZ. Real fast spike up, and then falls right back down. I'll show you real quick. Was able to scalp RBZ for 350 bucks real quick. I normally don't talk about my trades or brag about my profits, but RBZ, I've been stalking this all week. And if you go back and watch every single video recap, I've been talking about this every single day. There's opportunity on this. Every day it likes to pop. And that's what's great about the stock market. You don't have to trade what everybody else is trading. You could just develop your own strategy and trade what you want. If you see profitability in something, if you see a setup that has more reward than risk, go for it. That's what it's all about. Learn this game. And the only way to do that is to be here every day and put that screen time in. I don't care if you're not trading, if you're just paper trading, you got to be here every day in and day out. You got to know market conditions. You got to know what's working. You got to just observe, because algos are always changing. But that's going to be it for this, guys. Tomorrow's Friday, finally the end of the week. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day. Until next time, everyone, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. All right, later, everyone.